You are live.
You're live. Good evening and welcome. It's a regularly scheduled meeting of the Bangor City Council. Today is September 23rd, Monday. It is 7:30 p.m. We begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to ask soon-to-be retiring Fire Chief, who will be terribly missed, Chief Higgins, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You all will excuse me tonight. Normally I do the meeting standing up. I have an injured foot. It's really uncomfortable, so I'm going to be sitting down for most of the meeting. This is the portion of the meeting set aside for public comment. Public comment, whether in person or through Zoom, requires a person to state their name and whether you are a resident of Bangor. Inappropriate or offensive remarks may be interrupted and removed. The council chair has discretion over the time allowed for comment. Tonight we will have 60 minutes for public comment. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes for comment and no more. If you do not live in Bangor or own property in Bangor, please allow those who do live and own property here to have the opportunity to speak first. If you'd like to offer comment on any item not appearing on the regular agenda, you may approach the podium. On Zoom, the public can be recognized to speak by the hand raise function or on the phone by pressing *9.
Good evening. My name is Tyler Shanahan. I reside in Bangor. This is part 12 of the Overdose Prevention Centers series. Overdose Prevention Centers, also known as supervised consumption sites, are facilities where individuals can use pre-obtained drugs under the supervision of trained, capable staff. These centers play a crucial role in addressing the opioid crisis and other substance use disorders by providing a safe and hygienic environment for drug consumption, thereby significantly reducing the risk of overdose deaths. One of the primary values of OPCs is their ability to save lives. By offering immediate medical intervention in the event of an overdose, these centers prevent fatalities that might otherwise occur in unsupervised settings. This immediate response capability is critical in the context of the ongoing opioid epidemic, which has claimed countless lives worldwide. In addition to preventing deaths, OPCs contribute to public health by reducing the transmission of infectious diseases such as HIV and hepatitis C. The provision of sterile injection equipment and safe disposal options minimize the sharing of needles in the presence of discarded syringes in public spaces, thereby lowering the incidence of these diseases. OPCs also serve as a bridge to addiction treatment and other social services. Staff at these centers can provide users with information about referrals to detox programs, rehab services, and mental health support, facilitating a pathway to recovery for individuals who might otherwise remain isolated from such resources. Moreover, OPCs help to alleviate the burden on emergency medical services and public health systems by reducing the number of overdose-related emergency calls and hospital admissions. This in turn allows healthcare resources to be allocated more efficiently. In summary, overdose prevention centers offer a multifaceted approach to harm reduction, saving lives, improving public health, connecting individuals with essential support services, thereby playing a vital role in the broader strategy to combat substance use disorder. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. My name is Scott Hardy, and I am a resident of Bangor, and I'm glad you got to hear the final OPC thing, so we won't be doing that anymore for a while, but just for a little while. I'm here tonight to talk trash. As most of you know, I have strong reservations about the trash plant in Handle. As I mentioned at the last meeting, I was involved in supplying construction material to contractors in the initial construction. The engineers for the contractors expressed severe reservations about the plant actually being operational. My attention to this came mostly from changes to trash pickup in Bangor that not only affected me and Fresh Start, but also watching my elderly neighbors struggle to make it all fit when trash didn't get picked up because the lid was not completely closed. It was obvious to me that this change was clearly about money. The citizens of Bangor are now paying for this plant that does nothing. I notice this because the city charges $260 per year for any additional can. This is a tax. This is also a burden on single-family households with 2 or more children. I have attached the most recent MRC financial statement for your review. Some things appear to warrant a closer look. I received an email from the MRC last Thursday, 9/19/24, announcing a new COO. The most important thing I gleaned out of this email was key project updates include equipment procurement. MWS has secured deposits on critical equipment for the MRF, that's the plant, including machines to open bags at the start of the recovery process. Part number 2 is MRF construction. Phase 1 of the MRF construction and design changes are being implemented with a significant investment of just over $22 million. I would like to ask the city manager where the money is coming from. Are we still paying funds into this facility? Is this facility receiving any taxpayer dollars now? All I am asking is that councilors get involved with all updates from the MRC. I understand that this may be a political issue. FAME, the Finance Authority of Maine, issued a $45 million bond to Fiber Ray, the original plant owners, in 2018, and it may be looked at as a boondoggle. I do not want anyone that supported or voted for this plant to be afraid to ask the city and other communities to back away if your investigation looks like this may indeed not work. You will be doing us all a great favor by cutting our losses if necessary. A business that doesn't get rid of bad inventory goes bust. Please investigate this more deeply, please. Please, I'm asking you to do that. I truly want this plant to work. The taxpayers and the environment need your support to make sure that it does. Does anybody have any questions? That's fine.
It's really good time.
Thank you.
My name is Wayne Maller and I live here in Bangor. I have 2 questions. One is I was looking over the tax rate for other towns and everyone seemed to have an increase in taxes, but in the mill rate, but we didn't, we had a reduction. My question, I guess, would the reason we had the reduction because we had a lot new additional property added, or was it because we were doing a beginning of the revaluation process? I don't know. It was just something that came up in looking, because ours looked like a 3% reduction. Now, the other question I had was, I was downtown today, walking around. I didn't see our new people, but that's probably, wouldn't have noticed them if I had. But I was looking at the sites that we gave to different organizations to maintain, and I couldn't see that very many of them had been maintained this year. I don't know who's supervising that, but most of the ones I saw, whatever had been planted was dead. So it would appear that even though we had a team downtown watering, I used to see them, I didn't see them watering everything. And I went to a meeting, I think it was last week, that involved doing more beautification. And if we can't take care of what we already have, it doesn't make a lot of sense to delve into new beautification. I think it's great that we have it, but I do not like going by a place and seeing weeds and dirt when it should have been grass and flowers. And that's, even on city property, it's a kind of irritating to me. And the only other comment I would make is I noticed there's a Bangor Regional Forum on Local Government in October on the 17th, and I would assume you're probably sending someone to it. It's a meet with the candidates and the people that are in the legislature. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hillary Simmons and I live in Bangor. I have a couple different questions for the council tonight. Where is the city as far as the needle exchange program? We're not on the one-to-one exchange, are we anymore? Is that correct?
So the purpose of public comment is to hear the opinions of the public. We may not be able to answer your questions in
Okay.
writing, but we can
That's
certainly
fine.
note them and respond to you.
Okay, so I'm assuming I'm just gonna go as if we're not on the one-to-one exchange like we were at one point.
I can answer that. Nobody is because it's a state law. So that was a state law.
Okay, so as you're saying, Counselor Schaefer, that it's a state law, the state might control the program, but ultimately is up to the city or the municipality to decide how the program runs. Let's go back to the one-to-one exchange. At this point, it is a public health hazard. We have, 13 active cases of HIV and hepatitis within Tent City? So are we at this point protecting our citizens, our children from developing diseases, going to the parks, walking, getting stuck by needles, animals, anybody? Where are we? Not saying it's an intentional thing, it could be an unintentional thing, but at this point, we need to think about it as a public health crisis, and we have Portland looking into it. I believe Sanford just stopped theirs, where they are going back to the one-to-one exchange, so I think that it's time for the city to start thinking about that too. So if you can't answer questions, I was looking to figure out where the ARPA applications are stored and how someone can access those. Nobody can tell me that, just out of curiosity.
Sorry, they're followable, you can make a request, I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that they're public.
Okay. And my understanding would be, this is just a general statement, that someone that is requesting ARPA money from an outside organization that also is a council member, a member on the council, cannot be in a position of that ARPA money being dispensed to that organization. Thank you very much.
Anyone else from Bangor? No? Other Harmon. Because of some of the people who are in the audience, I'll skip part of what I was going to say. And I'm Doug Dunbar. I live in Herman. And first, I want to mention that Penobscot County Cares, a nonprofit that I'm involved with, created an initiative that the Bangor School Department embraced. So I want to thank the Bangor School Committee members, if there are any in the room, and the school department for embracing what Penobscot County Cares calls Overdose Kills, Education Heals. And it's a 5-part effort to make sure all schools have ample doses of naloxone. Bangor did a great job of leading the way in having all schools have Narcan in the building, but probably not enough. It can take 6 or 8 doses of naloxone to revive one person. So the Bangor School Department has agreed to increase the amount of naloxone in the schools, to require training of all employees in the schools, which is critical, not just because they may one day encounter someone who's overdosed, but training is much more about awareness of the crisis, of caring for people who use drugs. It's about fighting stigma. So thank you, anyway, to the Bangor School Committee and the Bangor School Department for endorsing and embracing what Penobscot County Cares brought to them. And because of their leadership, now we're going to all other schools in the county and asking them to do the same thing. All schools should have naloxone. They are community buildings, and many people utilize those facilities. So thank you for that. Secondly, I want to thank Jen Gunderman and her agency for the HIV awareness and healthcare being provided to the encampment. I'm at the encampment regularly. I was there much of yesterday. And for the sharps container at least one that's there now that wasn't there until recently. So thank you for what's being done. I guess I'll just close with, I'm here about homelessness. I have a friend in Bangor named Tyler. I see him regularly over at the McDonald's on Main Street. I spend time at 2nd Street Park and on Main Street. And Tyler doesn't know where to sleep at night because regularly someone from the Bangor Police Department wakes him up and says, you can't stay here. And then he moves to another place which he thinks where he can sleep, and they say, no, you have to move along. I hope you saw the cartoon in the Bangor Daily News. George Danby had one the other day of a gentleman sleeping on a park bench. And I wrote, it's even worse than that, because that gentleman would more than likely be asked by a Bangor police officer, probably very nicely, to move along. So from my friend Tyler, where should he sleep? Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah? Is there anyone else in the room? Okay, seeing no hands online. Public comment is closed. We will move on to our proclamation. Councilor Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will read the proclamation proclaiming the month of October 2024 as Community Planning Month. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas planners can help navigate this change with data-driven insights and expertise that provide better choices for how people work and live. Excuse me. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningful involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas the full benefits of planning require elected and appointed public officials who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October 2024 has been designated as National Community Planning Month by the American Planning Association as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to every community and how planners are uniquely positioned to identify solutions to communities' most difficult housing, transportation, and land use questions. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to recognize the participation and dedication of appointed planning board members who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the city of Bangor. And whereas we recognize the valuable contributions made by the professional community planners of the city of Bangor and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. Now, therefore, I, Gretchen Schaefer, on behalf of Cara Pelletier, Mayor of the City of Bangor, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2024 as Community Planning Month in the City of Bangor.
Thank you very much. I think we will welcome Nicolette. Don't want to say anything about the importance of planning?
I don't have a lot to say, that pretty much covered it, but I do look forward to the activities we have planned for the month of October to educate the community about planning and get them involved, so.
Really excited about the photo event for people to
Yes.
take pictures of their favorite and not so favorite places in Bangor.
Yeah, for members of the public, just keep an eye out. Next week, we will be posting a photo survey for people to take part in it, so. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Okay, we will move on to the consent agenda.
Minutes of Bangor City Council meeting of September 9th, 2024, Finance Committee meetings of September 9th, 2024, and September 16th, 2024, Government Operations Committee meeting of September 4th, 2024, and Business and Economic Development Committee meeting of September 4th, 2024. Liquor license renewals, application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of HC Bangor LLC, doing business as Hollywood Casino Hotel and Raceway, 500 Main Street. Application for liquor license renewal, Malt Wine Spirits of Victor Enterprises 6, Inc., doing business as Buffalo Wild Wings, 461 Stillwater Avenue. 24-287 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 10 Nelson Street. 24-288 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 30 Baldwin Drive. 24-289 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 66 Shepherd Drive. 24-290 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 190 Union Street. 24-291 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 318 Ohio Street. 24-292 order authorizing the execution of a municipal quitclaim deed for real estate located at 23 Jefferson Street. 24-293 order authorizing purchase of a sewer jet truck from Sanitary Equipment Company, Inc. 24-294 order authorizing the acceptance of the master plan for Cascade Park. 24-295 order authorizing a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Bangor and the Teamsters Local Number 340 Police Support Unit. 24-296 order authorizing the city manager to execute a right of entry with the United States Air National Guard and the United States Army Corps of Engineers for PFAS testing and at Bangor International Airport.
Thank you, Madam
Passage of the
Clerk.
consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Seeing no objection, consent agenda is passed. Referrals to committee of first reading.
24-297 resolve authorizing city manager to accept and appropriate funding from the 2024 Inflation Reduction Act Urban and Community Forestry Project Canopy Grant in the amount of $75,000 through the Maine Forest Service, first reading.
I move this item be referred.
Second.
Thank you, we have a motion, we have a second. Seeing no objection, this item is referred. Unfinished business.
24-279 ordinance amending Chapter 165 Land Development Code by removing and rewording sections of the code to align with the Maine state statutes for the regulation of manufactured housing. Councilor Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move passage of ordinance 24-279.
Second.
This ordinance amendment would remove and reword sections of the Land Development Code to comply with LD 337, as well as allow manufactured home parks in the low-density residential district, LDR. On March 19th of this year, the state of Maine adopted new law LD 337, which requires that municipalities allow manufactured homes on any lot where a single-family home is allowed. Municipalities can establish design criteria for manufactured homes, provided they do not have the effect of circumventing the state rules and/or have the effect of preventing relocation of any manufactured housing that was legally placed in the municipality on or before August 4th, 1988. This item was reviewed and unanimously recommended for passage at the Planning Board meeting on September 17th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Schaefer. We have a motion and a second. This is an ordinance, requires roll call vote.
Councilor Fish?
Yes.
Councilor Fournier?
Yes.
Councilor Schaefer?
Yes.
Councilor Trumbull?
Yes.
Councilor Yakabaga?
Yes.
Councilor Pelletier?
Yes,
6 yes, 0 no.
thank you. Item 24-279 has passage. Next item, please.
24-280 resolve accepting and appropriating an airport improvement grant, AIG, under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, BIL, program in the amount of $8,125,342 from the FAA and $451,408 from MDOT for the rehabilitation of runway 1533 at Bangor International Airport, BGR. Councilor Fournier.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion on Resolve 24-280.
Second.
Thank you. This resolve will authorize the acceptance and the appropriation of an airport improvement grant under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law Program in the amount of $8,125,342 from the FAA and $451,408 from Maine DOT, or I should say MDOT, for the rehabilitation of runway 15-33 at Bangor International Airport. The local match would be $451,408, which has been approved in the airport's fiscal year-end capital budget. This item was reviewed and recommended for approval at the Finance Committee meeting on September 4th of this year.
Thank you, Councilor Fournier. We have a motion and a second on this item. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, 24-280 has passage. Next item.
24-281 resolve authorizing the city manager to accept and appropriate $254,000 for a 2-year Maine CDC grant, Maine's project to prevent prescription drug opioid overdose-related deaths in Penobscot County. Councilor Yakabaga.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move the passage of Resolve 24-281.
Second.
Thank you. This order authorizes the city manager to accept and appropriate $254,000 for a 24-month grant from the Maine CDC. The goal of the project is to reduce prescription drug and opioid-related deaths in Penobscot County by working with the Community Coalition to organize and provide community trainings on overdose prevention and related issues like stigma, the science of addiction, adverse childhood experiences, etc., to civic organizations, people who use drugs, first responders, recovery centers, affected others, and other community organizations, to ensure access to naloxone within the identified high needs areas, to update a comprehensive overdose prevention and response plan. The initial project period of performance for this grant was from October 1st, 2022 to August 30th, 2024, and allowed for a 2-year extension. This additional 2-year project period will run from August 31st, 2024 to August 30th, 2026. This item was reviewed and recommended at the Finance Committee meeting on September 16th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Yakabaga. We have a motion, we have a second. Questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, 24-281 has passage. Next item.
24-282, resolve authorizing the city manager to appropriate Airport Improvement Program number 87 entitlement grant funds in the amount of $15,285,000 from the Federal Aviation Administration and $1,083,222 from Maine Department of Transportation for the rehabilitation of runway 1533 at Bangor International Airport. Councilor Yakabaga.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move the passage of Resolve 24-282.
Second.
Thank you. This resolve will authorize the city manager to appropriate Airport Improvement Program, AIP, number 87, entitlement grant funds of $15,285,000 from the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and $1,083,222 from Maine Department of Transportation, MDOT, for the rehabilitation of runway 1533 at Bangor International Airport. This project was approved for funding by the FAA and by MDOT in May of 2024 under the airport's 5-year capital improvement plan. The local share would be $1,083,222. As the AIP program is an entitlement program, the federal and state funds were approved for this project earlier this year, but not officially awarded. As a result, a contract has already been executed with Northeast Paving in order to commence with construction at the beginning of this year's construction season. This item was reviewed and recommended at the Finance Committee meeting on September 9th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Yakabaga. We have a motion and a second. Questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, 24-282 has passage. New business.
Public hearing, application for special amusement license renewal of HC Bangor LLC, doing business as Hollywood Casino, Hotel, and Raceway, 500 Main Street. Councilor Fournier.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'd like to open up the public hearing.
Second.
So motion and a second. Public hearing is open.
Seeing no one approach, close the public hearing.
Second.
So motion and a second. Public hearing is closed.
I'd like to make a motion for the application of special amusement license renewal for Penn National Gaming, Inc., doing business as Hollywood Casino, Hotel, and Raceway, 500 Main Street.
Second.
A motion and a second. Questions or discussion on this item? Seeing none, the special amusement license is granted. Next item.
24-298, order direct signing and posting of the United Technology Center Region 4 Southern Penobscot County Vocational Region warrant and notice of election. Councilor Trumbull.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I move for passage of Order 24-298.
Second.
This order will direct the City Council to countersign the warrant and notice of election regarding to the United Technology Center, Region 4, Southern Penobscot County Vocational Region, referendum as required by state law. The referendum, if passed by voters, will authorize the issuance of bonds or notes for minor capital purposes in an amount not to exceed $1,874,300 to acquire advanced industry standard equipment to modernize 18 of the programs at UTC and train students for careers in high-demand fields. The debt service on the bonds or note shall be paid by the state of Maine with no impact on local educational taxes. This was reviewed at the council workshop on September 9th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Trumbull. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? Seeing none, 24-298 has passed. Next item.
24-299, order authorizing the use of city property to serve as a host site for electric vehicle charging stations. Councilor Fish.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I move for passage of Order 24-299.
Second.
This order would authorize the use of city property to serve as a host site for a combination of Level 2, medium speed, and Level 3, fast, electric vehicles charging stations. Serving as a host site would mean that the charging stations are installed on city property, but the city would not be responsible for installation or operation. This would allow the city to take advantage of a request for proposals released by Efficiency Maine for the installation of fast chargers so located with Level 2 chargers. The properties of interest to serve as host sites for these charging stations would be Broad Street Park, Gallagher Place parking lot, or Abbott Square parking lot. This item was reviewed and unanimously recommended by the Business and Economic Development Committee meeting on September 16th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Fish. We have a motion and a second on this item. Comments or discussion? Seeing none, 24-299 has passage. Next item, please.
24-300, order adopting a tax increment financing and credit enhancement agreement policy. Councilor Schaefer.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I move passage of Order 24-300.
Second.
This order would adopt a tax increment, TIF, and credit enhancement agreement, CEA, policy. Under Maine law, municipalities may designate, I'm not sure, I think that's a misspelling. Municipalities may designate TIF districts by designating a boundary around a specific geographic area to promote local economic development and support municipal projects. Municipalities can also enter into credit enhancement agreements to provide a property tax reimbursement to a developer in order to create incentives for the development and attract new investment in the local economy. This policy outlines the standards and processes when initiating or considering applications to establish a TIF and/or enter into CEA agreements. The policy includes a list of principles, considerations, the application process and requirements, and other guidelines. This item was reviewed at the Business and Economic Development Committee meeting on September 19th, 2024.
Thank you, Councilor Schaefer. There's a motion and a second on this item. Comments or discussion? Councilor Trumbull.
No, I just want, unfortunately, the staff people that put this together on here tonight, but I just want to say this was a lot of work. This is very important. We've had TIFs and credit enhancement agreements for a long time, but it has been, I think, inconsistent how we've awarded these to people. I think this gives us a clear policy on why someone should get one, how much they should get, and I think it's just going to make the process more transparent and just be a fair process. Not that it's been unfair in the past, but it hasn't been anything we could say, here's why we did this and why we did this. This is going to make much more sense moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there comments or discussion? Seeing no doubt, 24-300 has passage. Last item.
There should be two more items.
Oh, you're right, I'm wrong. My eyes went to the wrong place. Okay, 24-298 has passage. Next item, please.
No, that was 300, but you should have 24301 and 24302.
We've only got 301.
I've got 301.
We got 300. I did that. I just did that one. So we only have 301.
300 for Schaefer. Yeah, and we have 301.
Okay.
Last item?
302.
Yeah, well, there should be a 302 also on the,
Do you have it printed?
I do have it printed.
I'll be happy to refer to it. Would someone be willing to bring it to me or pass it down?
Yeah, I can, after we do this one, I will
All
do that
right,
one.
very good.
It is posted on the door. Okay,
It's not on my page, I don't know where it went.
It's not on the summary, but I see it in the last page.
Okay, 24-301 order authorizing the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding with Save a Life, Inc., SAL, to receive up to $40,000 from Maine's project to prevent prescription drug opioid overdose-related deaths in Penobscot County to support the project in northern Penobscot County. Councilor Fish.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I move for passage of item number 24-301.
Second?
This order will authorize the city manager to execute a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the city of Bangor with Save a Life. Save a Life will receive up to $40,000, $20,000 between August 31st, 2024 and August 30th, 2025, and $20,000 between August 31st, 2025 and August 30th, 2026 from the Maine's Project to Prevent Prescription Drug Opioid Overdose-Related Deaths grant in Penobscot County to provide staffing and related activities to support the project in northern Penobscot County. Staff from the Public Health and Community Services Department will provide technical assistance, support, and monitoring. An MOU between the City of Bangor and Save a Life was in place during the initial project period from October 1st, 2022 to August 30th, 2024. An additional two-year project period will run from August 31st, 2024 to August 30th, 2026. This MOU will begin on August 31st, 2024 and end on August 30th, 2026.
Thank you, Councilor Fish. We have a motion, we have a second. Questions or discussion on this item? 24-301 has passage. The next item,
24-302 order authorizing the airport to submit a passenger facility charge PFC application to the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, for collection of $2,127,000 to provide funding for the replacement of a passenger boarding bridge located at Gate 11 at Bangor International Airport. Councilor Trumbull.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Madam Chair, I move for passage of Council Order 24-302.
Second.
This order will authorize the airport to apply for a passenger facility charge for the collection of $2,127,000 to provide funding for the replacement of a passenger boarding bridge located at Gate 11 at Bangor International Airport. A PFC is a fee paid by passengers that are used to make improvements to the airport's infrastructure that benefits passengers. The current fee is $4.50 per passenger and is collected by the airlines when a ticket is purchased. The airline is able to deduct a small fee of 11 cents per ticket and remit the balance of $4.39 to the airport. So I would move for passage.
Second?
thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. We did discuss this item at committee this evening, and it was mentioned that it would be on the agenda. Seeing no doubt, 24-302 has passage. That brings us to the end of the regularly scheduled agenda and the ghost item that was at the end there. Any comments from staff?
I have one. I would like to say on behalf of the city and staff, congratulations to Fire Chief Tom Higgins for 34 years of service to the city of Bangor. Thank you.
Chief Higgins, would you like to say anything?
Tom Higgins, Fire Chief. Yeah, I will, since you give me the mic for a moment. Absolutely, thank you. It's been my honor to have worked for the city for the last 34 years, nearly the last 10 years as a Fire Chief. I appreciate the support of the council, our citizens, those who live, work, play in our city, and I would most be remiss if I didn't. One of the things I keep missing is thanking my family on things, but I would like to publicly thank all of our firefighters that we have working today, that have had work for us over the last 10 years, and for so many years that have provided such a high-quality service to our citizens, and I couldn't be more proud to have served in this. So thank you, and I will see you. I'm not going far away, so thank you.
Thank you. I will add to that when I was campaigning for this office a couple of years ago, Chief Higgins gave me some time and sat down and explained all about how the fire department works and what they do. And I came away so impressed and grateful for his ability to find good quality used equipment and be innovative in how they can save our taxpayers' money while still being absolutely ready and able to professionally respond to calls at the drop of a hat. The times that I've been on ride-alongs and gotten to interact with your crew, you know, it's clear that they are just an absolutely professional, grade A, world-class team, and that doesn't come without good support and leadership at the top. So thank you for everything that you have given to the city of Bangor. You know where you're going, so we'll come and find you if we need you. But we're wishing you the very best in your next chapter, so thank you. Other comments from staff? Just waves from the gallery as per usual. Closing comments from council. Councilor Schaefer.
Just, again, thank you to Chief Higgins. You know, I can think of some interesting fires over the last 34 years, like the big one, the Mason's building, and you probably worked there for that. You've probably seen some really interesting things and probably seen some really horrible things in your years, but you have always been at these meetings with a smile on your face and always willing to work. And thank you for your service. One of the reasons I live in Bangor is because we have services. And there was one time I was at a daycare picnic at Fairmount Park and a toddler started choking on pizza. And I was trying to do the back blows and it wasn't working. So I was like, someone's got to call 911. They called. And I mean, like on the phone, they hit like one and you hear the siren from downtown. Boom, they were there. That kid was fine. They did transport him and they got it out and it was fine. But big reason why I pay taxes in Bangor is because I know that I can hit 911 and I hear the siren fire up right down the street. And so it's very appreciated to have that kind of level of service. You will be first on mutual aid calls, I assume, so that you know where all the streets are. But appreciate your service and thank you for all you and your team do. Have a good night.
Councilor Fournier.
I'll just echo that, and personally, first day we brought our son home from the hospital after being born, he was choking, turned blue. Renee said, call 911. I did, and I within 10 seconds, I could hear the fire trucks coming up, and I just get emotional talking about it, and I want to thank you and everyone at the fire department for all that they do. And it's the reason why I never complain about paying taxes in Bangor. So with that, thanks a lot, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you.
Thank you. Councilor Trumbo.
Chief, going to be missed. 34 years since 1990, you've been with the fire department. I mean, I think you've probably seen it. Fire service has changed a lot since 1990, especially in Bangor, it's changed a lot. But I mean, just in the ambulance service, what we do with the ambulances in Bangor, the fire chiefs you've served under, and then I think if you say, okay, can you pick a perfect person to be the fire chief for the city of Bangor? I think you're the guy, Tom. So we're not happy to leave him, but we understand. And I was going to say something with the chief. Oh, I think we've been very well served over the years, as we've generally promoted from within with fire chiefs. And when we didn't is when we weren't served so well. So hopefully we've got some bench that we can choose from in the new fire chief. I don't have any idea who we've got, but hopefully we've got a strong bench that we can look at to fill your shoes, which are big shoes to fill. So then, Tom also served as EMA director, so, and that was critical, especially as climates changed, as we had some long, prolonged power outages in Bangor. I don't think I told many people before now, but I'd call Tom and find out what he knew about when the power was coming back on at the store. So he kept me in the loop on what he knew. So I appreciate that. It's very stressful times when people are trying to run businesses and stuff, and people who live in the city. It's a stressful time for everybody. And so thanks. And I just also want to mention on Sunday the 15th, I was in Portland for the Maine Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. 2 Bangor people got inducted. Kissy Walker, from a longtime Husson basketball coach, and Gabby Price, longtime high school and college football coach, both got inducted. So it was a great ceremony, but those 2 people are very, very deserving of their induction in the Maine Sports Hall of Fame. It was a great ceremony. So, good night.
Thank you. Councilor Yarkbaga?
So I came to the US 27 years ago, but you have been on this job for 34. I thought I came a long time ago, but this is even like few years back. So thank you so much for your service and dedication for the city of Bangor. I think each one of us has a personal story about the amazing service that the fire department in Bangor offers to its citizens. I was just I had that situation once, and they were right there, right after I called 911. So we appreciate your service. And you gave us this badge, and I'm gonna keep this with other important stuff when I leave. And integrity, you guys, you lead with integrity. Thank you for your service to the city of Bangor, and you did an amazing work for our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilor Fish?
Well, likewise, I want to thank you for your many years of service, decades actually. And I think you've nurtured a talented group that are coming up and are active there, and it makes us feel safe and knowing that your leadership has created a force we can still rely on. And luckily I've not had to call personally, but I've been a neighbor of people who I've called. And your people have been there so quickly, and I've witnessed how professional and courteously they have handled the elderly neighbors that I've had who called on numerous times. And the only experience I did have, I leased for my company a building on Main Street, and there was a malfunction with the alarm. It was a silent alarm, and for 2 or 3 days in a row, the firemen would come, and when they pulled in my yard, I was wondering what they were doing there. And but you guys helped us resolve the issue. I started wondering if my single young ladies weren't really good. But we resolved the problem, and I think we were all relieved. But thank you for your service. Best of luck to you. Godspeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fish. All right, that is it for me. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.